Hey, my name is Aaron Delis and this is a tutorial about the programming language objects. Here I have an example object, and the way you declare an object is you type object keyword, then you type object name, open braces, and then you declare a field inside of braces. Each field can be mutable by adding mutable keyword. Field has a name and it has a type. And field name and field type are separated by colon. Here's a real-world example. And I declared a animal object that has a name of type string and it has a mutable age property of type integer. And here's how you can use animal. This is called object expression. And the way you declare a object expression is you start with object name, open curly braces, and continue declaring a members of object. Now let's print our animal object and let's run this example. And it prints our animal, which has name of noble and age of 2. Now how do we increase age of our animal? First we need to declare a variable of type animal being mutable, and then we access object property with access expression, like this. And then let's print our animal again. So now when we run this example again, we will see that our age property has been increased by 1. I added one more property to animal object, which is called has legs and of type boolean, and I will add property initializer here. So now when we run this example, we have a property has legs of type true, and if I declare it a false, which is a default value for a boolean type, I can just omit this property's initialization, which will in turn use default value for this property, which is false. Let's run it again and see. So as you can see, our has legs property is still here, but it has value of false, which is default value for a boolean type. And if we omit all properties and run it again, we will see that all properties have now used default value. For string it is empty string, for a integer type it is 0, and for boolean it is a false value. Here's another example of object usage. I declared a point object with mutable xy properties of type integer, and then I declared a line object with mutable p1 and p2 properties of type point. Then I initialized line object with p1 point being at position of 0, 0 and p2 at position 5 and 5. In the end, let's print our line and let's run our example. And as you can see, we have our line here at position of 0, 0 and 5, 5. I wanted to show how forward declaration works in the programming language. So right now the object point is the first declaration in this sequence of declarations, and line is the second. And if we change order of declarations and run the example again, the example will actually work perfectly fine. This is because the programming language supports forward declaration. And forward declaration sequence supports functions, enumerations and objects. So if you would declare a global variable between declarations, it would break a sequence and it will throw an error. Let me demonstrate. Let's declare mutable line global variable of type line. Let's run our example and we will see that it throws an error. The way you fix it is you need to move your variable after the sequence of declarations. So now if we run it, you will see that it works perfectly fine. Now let's check another example. Here I have a employer object which has a favorite employee property of type employee, and then I declare a employee object with employer property of type employer, and then I initialize employee and print it. If we run our example, it will cause a segmentation fault. And the reason for this is because we declared a circular object. And circular object is type of object that has a child object. In our case, employer references our parent object, which is employee. So it creates a loop which prevents a program from running. And the way you solve it is you need to declare your, for example, favorite employee property as a optional type, for example. So employer could have or could not have a favorite employee. So if we run this example again, we will see that it works perfectly fine. So you need to declare your property something else other than parent object. So this is it for now. Thank you for watching. See you soon.